Two people walk into the same Rolex store. Same city. Same day. Same money. One is told there's a waiting list. The other is quietly offered a watch. No announcement, no explanation. Just a decision that feels invisible. Most people believe Rolex watches are hard to get because demand is high. But demand isn't the problem. Access is. And Rolex doesn't sell watches the way you think. Most people think Rolex works like any other luxury brand. You walk into a store, you choose a watch, you pay, and you leave. But Rolex doesn't sell watches directly to customers. It sells them to authorized dealers, and every watch is allocated before you ever ask for it. This is where the waiting list comes in. Most people believe it's a queue, a simple system. First come, first served. You give your name, you wait. And eventually, your turn comes. That's the assumption, and it sounds fair, but in most Rolex boutiques, there is no real waiting list. What exists instead is an interest list, a record of names, impressions, histories, and behavior. It doesn't track how long you've waited. It tracks how well you fit. Waiting doesn't move you forward. Being on the list doesn't mean you're next. It means you're being evaluated. Now the difference becomes visible. Two customers enter the same store. Same watches, same prices, same availability. On the surface, there is no difference. But the system isn't looking at the surface. One customer has history, familiarity, predictable behavior. The other has money. Both want the same watch. Only one fits the system. And the system always chooses itself. The watch doesn't go to the person who wants it most. It goes to the person the system trusts. Because consistency matters more than demand, and the decision is made quietly. From Rolex's perspective, this system isn't accidental. Scarcity protects value. It prevents discounting and slows down consumption. It keeps prices stable, even when economic conditions change. When a product is never easily available, it never feels ordinary. And when it never feels ordinary, it never loses status. On the surface, the process appears neutral, structured, orderly, even fair. There are no visible rules, no public rankings, and no explanations offered, which is exactly what makes the system feel legitimate. But access is never decided in isolation. History matters, familiarity matters. Predictable behavior matters. Customers who return, who wait without complaint, and who follow the unspoken rules, are quietly prioritized over time. Every interaction leaves a trace. Conversations are remembered. Visits are noticed. Preferences are noted. Nothing is written down in public, but nothing is ever forgotten. Most people don't challenge the system because waiting feels like progress. Being acknowledged feels like advancement, and silence feels like possibility. Over time, patience becomes investment, and investment turns into belief. This model doesn't stop with watches. It quietly repeats across luxury. Different products, different industries. The same structure underneath, the same logic of controlled access. By limiting access, brands protect perception. By protecting perception, they protect value. Over time, the system reinforces itself. Demand stays high, even when conditions change. This approach isn't unique to Rolex. It's a pattern repeated across the luxury industry. Different products, different categories, but the same structure underneath. Limited access, controlled distribution, and quiet selection. Most customers never see the system working. They only experience the outcome. A wait that feels normal, a delay that feels justified, and a decision that's never fully explained. The structure stays invisible by design. Over time, people adapt. They learn what behavior is rewarded, what behavior is ignored, and what behavior quietly closes doors. Compliance feels voluntary, but it's carefully shaped. Eventually, the product becomes secondary. Ownership matters less than remaining eligible. Access turns into status, and status becomes the real currency. Systems like this endure because they rarely feel imposed. They feel earned. The rules are never announced, but they're quickly understood, and once someone believes they're progressing inside the system, they stop questioning it. Over time, people begin to adjust themselves to the system. They learn what behavior is rewarded, what behavior is tolerated, and what behavior quietly moves them further away from access. There are no penalties announced, no warnings given, just subtle signals that shape decisions without force. And the longer someone stays inside, the more natural the system feels. In the end, the watch is only the symbol. What's being sold is access. Access to a system that decides who belongs, who waits, and who remains outside. The process feels personal, but it isn't. It's structured, repeated, carefully maintained. Because once access is rare, desire no longer needs explanation. If you're curious about how luxury really works, subscribe for more.